What's up, guys? Cwesolo here, and today we're going to be going over Unreal Engine. So we're going to kind of get like a brief introduction to it and see what it looks like and install it and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Also, before I go on any further, please do subscribe if you like this kind of content, and be sure to click the bell icon so that way you'll never miss out on any of my future content. So yeah, now back to Unreal Engine. So first things first, we're going to go to Google, and we're going to just quickly scooch on over to Google and type in Unreal Engine, just like that. And we're gonna click just on the first link that's there. And just real quickly, you're gonna, if you don't have an account already, you're gonna need to make an account. If you play Fortnite on PC, you probably already have an account, or if you play Fortnite at all, you probably have an Epic Games account. So if you play Fortnite, you probably can skip this step and just log into your Epic Games account, but if you don't already have one, you're going to need to make one. After you've done that, you're going to need to go to the download tab, and there are a couple options that we have here. So the first thing is you have a publishing license and you have a creator's license. These two licenses are different. So the creator's license is for people that want to just create things, and so like if you want to create a game and you don't plan on selling it or anything like that, or releasing it, this is what you would want. Or if you're creating like short, like animated films and stuff, and Unreal, you could use it for that too. The publishing license is for people that want to actually publish their work. And yeah, so if you plan on selling your game, this is the one that you're going to want to go with. I'm sure you could probably change these when you get to that point, but just to be safe, I'd go with the publishing license if you plan on doing that. On another note, if you do release your game, the first 1 million of your gross revenue. After that, you're going to need to pay them 5% of what you make of your gross revenue. So just keep that in mind if you make over $1 million on your game. And yeah, so you're going to click the download button, and you're going to download the engine, and then you're going to install it. And then you'll be all set to go there. After you've done that, you'll be opening up the Epic Game Launcher. It's probably going to open up on its own when you're finished going through the menu and clicking through, and you're going to need to log in, and it will just pop up on a nice little screen like this or like this. It'll probably send you the home screen first, but after you do that, you're going to need to go to your library, or not your library, Unreal Engine, and then click Library, and then you're going to want to install the latest version. I already have the latest version installed, so I'm just going to click, we're going to delete this real quick. I'm going to just click the launch button, and it'll start up Unreal Engine, and we'll be all set in a sec. Alright, so once the engine opens, it might take a little bit depending on what you have it stored on. So if you have it stored on an SSD, it's probably going to be a bit faster. If it's on a hard drive like this installation is for some reason, it's going to take a while. I actually don't use 4.26 very often. I use 4.24 because that's the version that my game is being made on, and I can't update it to the most recent version because it'll break everything. So, yeah. So we're going to be making games, so that's what we're going to click. You have other options here. If you plan on using these other options, it'll set up the engine configured for those as well. We're going to click Next, first person, just for this video, and we're going to click Next. You have a couple options here. You have Blueprint or C++. If you are new to Unreal Engine, you're probably going to want to go with the blueprinting option, and you can play with the C++ later. You could always add C++ scripts later in your project anyway. What platform you're developing for, so if you're going for mobile/tablets or desktop/consoles, you can do that too. You can also change this later on anyway in the project settings. So I wouldn't dwell on these settings too long. You can always add, at least you can change these ones at any given time. And the starter content, we're going to just start with it so that way we have extra stuff. And we're going to call this Unreal Basics. You can't use spaces, so you're going to need to use underscores. And yeah. So we're going to create the project, and it's going to load, and it's going to do its nice little thing. And then once it's done loading, you'll be greeted with this nice little loading progress thing, and then it will open up. All right, so once you open up Unreal Engine, you're going to be greeted with this nice little screen. This is the engine itself. This is what everything looks like. It's probably a little overwhelming at first. I would suggest this is probably a little bit more advanced than Unity. So if this is your first engine to be using for game development, do know that it might be a little bit, there's a steeper learning curve for Unreal Engine than there is for Unity. So just know that it's not going to be hard. It's just going to take a little bit longer to learn how to use. This engine's packed full of a whole bunch of things. So yeah. Anyway, first things first, I'm going to just reduce the scale here, and we're going to click that button there. All right. So here is what Unreal Engine looks like. We're going to start at the very top here with the top toolbar, and we're going to just kind of work our way around going over what each individual thing is. So on the toolbar, you have a couple of options here. So you have the save current, which will save the current level, the source control, the modes. So if you're going to be making a landscape, you could do that here. If we click landscape, it'll prompt us with the landscape stuff. So you can make landscape if you want to. So I'm not going to be playing around with that. We don't need to. The marketplace and the content. So if you close the content browser on accident, you could always just click that button. It'll bring it back. So just note that that's actually there. The settings. So if you want to open up the world settings or the project settings, see what plugins you have installed, and a lot of various other items like engine scalability, where you can change how the graphics look and stuff. That's all here. Then Megascans, we're not going to worry about that. But it is worth noting that you can install Megascans for free on your computer, and you could import any of the materials and assets and stuff that they have on there. If you're using Unreal Engine, it's 100% free because Epic Games bought Cwesolo, I think, like a year ago or something like that. So you could totally import Megascan stuff for absolutely free and use as much as you want. I guess that's just one of the perks of using Unreal Engine. You have access to a lot of assets. That used to be Unity's thing, but not so much anymore, I guess. This is the Blueprints tab, so if you want to open up a level blueprint or a blueprint class, we'll get into those in a later video on what their differences is. But yeah, that's what that is. Cinematic, so if you're going to be making any cutscenes or stuff like that, here, this is where that would be. You have the build setting, so if you want to build lighting in your scene, you can do that here. So if you want to set to production and then click build, it'll build the lighting and make everything look fancy. This is the play button, so that way you can test your game and play. As you can see, playing our game. You can hit escape to get out of that, and this is the launch button. And this is the launch button that will it'll open up a separate window, and you can just play it that way. Anyway, on to the next thing. So we're gonna go with a nice little big screen here in the middle. This is the viewport. That's at least what I'm gonna call it. There's a couple things to know. You can move around by holding right click and using WSD to move. If you hold right click, you can see the screen. Left click, you can both move in the direction that you're looking, and you could look around. I personally don't ever use this, so if you want to use it, you can, but I prefer just right click and just move, as if I was playing a normal video game, which is WASD. Shift will stop you. And yeah, so that's just how that works. You have a couple options here, so you have a couple things, show FPS and stats and stuff if you want to see what's going on. You have the perspective, so the different views. So this is perspective view. They have shortcuts for all this too, so if you want to learn all the shortcuts, you can learn them. You have perspective top, so this is like the top of the map. We're gonna get out our wireframe real quick. So this is the top view, so you can move things around in the top view. You got bottom view, left view, and so on and so forth. We're gonna just stick in perspective view for now. These are the different lighting. So if you're working in an engine and if you're working and you are in a dark area and you're wanting to place assets around, you can turn into unlit mode, so that way you can still see everything. They have wireframe and a whole bunch of lighting quality and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff that you have here. If you want to change how everything, the view mode, so that way you can see what that looks like. Over on this side, we have a couple of options for objects. So when we click on this cube, these three things move things around. You have, all the movement options. This is the rotation option. So if you want to rotate the cube, we can do that here. The scale. So if we want to increase the scale, make it, tall and wide, we can do that. And yeah, these are the scaling options. So these are the different snapping things. So if you want to, this will snap at like 10. So every 10 units, it's going to snap. Keep in mind that a unit in Unreal Engine is a millimeter. So this is actually, I think, moving like, or it's either centimeters or millimeters. It's something along those lines. But this is moving 10 of whatever they're using for measurement. And you can change the snapping like so, and this will determine whether you want it to snap on the grid. So if you don't want it to snap on the grid and you want to just move it around freely, you totally can. This is again for so when you're rotating an object, it'll snap. So this is on 10-degree increments. You can change that to 5, whatever, and stuff like that. You can do that here and turn on and off snapping as well. This is same thing for scaling. You can determine how much you want it to scale to snap and stuff like that, and it's quite useful. All these things are there and useful. This is the camera speed, so if you want to increase how fast your camera moves around in the viewport here, you can totally do that here. On over to the place actors section. So this is how you would place actors into the scene. They give you some basic actors here, so if I want to place in a cylinder, we can place it in and we can move it around like so, and there's our cylinder. And that's just what that is. And you can add lights and stuff, so if I want to add a nice little light, we can do that here too. There's a lot of tabs here, so most likely you probably won't be using the basic stuff very often unless it's for like a box trigger or sphere trigger, which are useful. But these basic items you might use, but I doubt it. You'll probably be running your own static meshes and stuff like that. Here are the lights, so they have different lights. If you need to change lighting, we can get a spotlight. That way we have, a spotlight on something. We have point lights, rect lights, or rectangular lights. And all these lights give you a lot of different options for lighting your scene or your levels. Sorry, I've been using Unity a lot lately. To light your levels and stuff like that and make everything look pretty. These are cameras, the camera rig and actors and stuff like that. So that way you can take with the cinematics thing up here, you can make some cool cutscenes and stuff like that, or any kind of cinematics that you may need. This is the visual effects tab. So these are like fog and atmosphere, stuff like that. Post-process volume. You may or may not use a lot of the some of the stuff here. It really depends. Here's geometry. So these are really useful. So if you're kind of like making a level and you want to kind of, test fit everything before going and actually making your 3D models and your assets, these are what these can be used for. You can grab a box here and you can increase its size, and these things aren't affected by collision or lighting. So, and it's a really quick way to build your scene and kind of then use your assets that you're making and replace them. They're very useful if you want to test fit and really kind of get an idea of what you're building first and the size of your assets before actually building. You have the volumes here, so like the kill Z, which is like, falling out of the world and stuff like that. Audio volumes and all those different stuff. And this is just all the classes that'll just show you everything. Down here is the content browser. You can click this nice little button and see all your folders and just click on them from here. You also have nice little folders here. You can even change the color of these folders. So if we want to set a color, we can change that and change the geometry folder to look like that. And it'll even change over here. You can search for items. So if I want to look up for like gold, we have a gold texture there, our material. You have save all, so this will just save everything in the scene, or just actually save everything. And you can kind of go back and forth between the content and stuff like that here too. This will also show the directory, so if you have content, geometry, meshes, and you can go back from clicking there too. You can also add and import different assets from here as well. Over here is the world outliner, so this shows everything that is in your level. It's best practice to keep this nice and organized. I'm not always keeping it organized for my game, and I probably should be, but you can make folders and stuff here and organize everything here. But this just shows everything that's in the world. This is the details panel, so we're going to use our nice little cylinder here. This shows like the location, the rotation, and the scale of the object, whether you want it stationary, movable, or static. It's different lighting things, so if it's movable, it can actually move around in the screen. If it's stationary, it just It doesn't move, but it can be changed in game. And then static is it's staying. It's not changing. It's not doing anything. It's just staying the way that it is. And you can actually use that to bake lighting. These two actually use dynamic lighting. This is what the mesh is. So if you want to make an empty object and add a mesh to it, you can do that here. The materials, the physics. So if we want it to simulate physics, we can give it some weight. Let's just make it like 5 kilograms. And you can give it some different physics stuff. If you want to constrain its physics, so if you don't want it to rotate in a specific direction or move in a specific direction, you can do that here. You have collision. If you want to turn off collision for some apparent reason, you could do that here and adjust its collision settings, lighting, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be on your page, but when you open this, but this is the world settings. So if you want to configure, the default game mode and stuff like that, if it's not open, you can always open it up here at the window thing and put it on. I suggest having it on. I always have it on. So you can do that here. And actually, that's a perfect segue to move up to here. So up here is your basic, your file stuff, Explorer and stuff like that. Here, if you want to save everything, you could also do it here. If you want to open a new level, we can make a new level. All sorts of stuff here. If you want to validate your data or start a C++ class. So like I was saying before, if you want to start a C++ class, you can do that here. If you want to package your project to test it and on its own, you can do that here. You have some edit options, your editor preferences and project settings and your plugins. This is the window. So these are all the windows that are open. So if you want to add these things to your screen, you could totally do that here. You got some developer tools, content browser, and stuff like that. And then you have a help tab if you ever need any help. Unreal Engine actually is quite nice. They actually offer this little thing here. So you can click on this nice little thing up here. It'll probably pop up on your screen when you open it for the first time. And they have tutorials built into the engine. So if you want to learn how to use Unreal, this will cover it all. But then you don't have to watch this video. So you should just watch the video anyway. Anyway, so yeah. I think this video is coming to a close now, so I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. If you guys liked the video, leave a like, comment if you have anything to say, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content on Unreal Engine. And also go check out my game on Steam and wishlist it. It would be really cool if you could wishlist my game. Yeah, I think that's it. Go check out my game, subscribe for more Unreal Engine content, and just game development content in general. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.